Welcome to Tommy Solo's Famous Friends. This is where I get to chat with people I've connected with over the years in the world of arts and entertainment. And today I'm very happy to have with me world renowned drummer extraordinaire Carmine Appice. Welcome back to the show, Carmine.
Oh, how you doing?
Well, I'm doing
I'm
just
ready.
great.
I'm ready to rock, as you can see. I'm ready.
You're always ready, man. You never sleep, I don't think. I've been having a
He
hard
never
time trying to
sleeps.
keep up with everything you're doing, man. Like,
Yeah.
now, we're here today to talk about the new album,
Right.
Temple of Blues 2. My
Yeah.
God, the last one was amazing. This one is amazing. I don't know how you do it, man. I really don't.
Well, it's after the first one, this was not my idea. This was Brian Pereira, who owns the label. Last time he said, I would love to do an album that shows the like Cactus, who it influenced, you know? And I said, oh, that'd be cool. So we were going to call it Influencers and Friends. And then I noticed that on the Billboard charts, you had Foghat and you had all these rockers were on the blues charts. And I said, we're a blues rock band too. So he said, well, why don't we call it Temple of Blues, and Influencers and Friends. I said, that's a good idea. So we did. And the idea was to take all the Cactus songs on the last album and redo them with other people, like Joe Bonamassa and Billy Sheehan and Warren Haynes and all these different people, And and when we did it, it came out great. And I did it in the studio. And the way I record here in the studio with these records, I start just with the drums, right? Put a click on, I sing the riff like evil. I would go, here's a click, and I go bam 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 da bam ba bam ba bam ba bam 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 bam. A long way from home, and I'd sing it through the whole thing with the click, and then I might put another riff with my voice, like a background riff, and then I play drums to it. Right, so I got something to play to, and then I would send it to my guitar player, and he would put the riffs on it, and then we send it to the bass player and the singer, and now we got a demo. So we did the same thing on two. Now, number one broke into blues charts on Billboard at number three, first week, and it was stayed there for a long time. And Amazon, it was in the top five blues and Amazon for a long time. So on this time, I said, look, we did most of the Cactus songs. So we got three Cactus songs on this one. We got Token Chokin' from the third album. We got Feel So Good from the first album. And we got Bad Stuff from the fourth album. The rest of the seven songs are Howlin' Wolf and Willie Dixon blues songs. So it's really blues this time. And there's an album called Howlin' Wolf's Electric Album. Jimmy Page gave it to Jeff Beck, but you could hear Led Zeppelin all over that first album, and that. So Jeff Beck gave it to me, and that's where I got Evil from. For
Mm.
Cactus. So I love that album. So anyway, um, I love that album. The drum parts, the drum grooves on that album are so cool. So I said, well, on this one, let's do seven of the other songs from that album, which is great stuff. And I got to play the same kind of drum grooves that are on the album, modernized a bit, you know, and it started coming out good. So I started with the first one, did it the same way with the click and all that. I even got to play some of my old bass. I have a 61 precision Fender bass here, and there's a song called Moanin'. I actually put the bass line down on it,
Oh,
and you
cool.
hear a little thing in the background. It go doo doo. It's a keyboard part. I did it on the B3 organ on my garage band on my
Okay.
iPad. You
Yeah.
know, it's
In the
crazy stuff.
plugins. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a plugin. So I have a lot of fun here
I
doing
was
this
going to ask
stuff.
you, I mean, we've talked about this process before, but I was going to ask you if you played any other instruments because it's quite interesting how a drummer can come up with arrangements, like I know other drummers who play a little bit of guitar and they'll kind of stumble through trying to explain to me what it is they want. But you're not just a percussionist. You're very instrumental, melodic guy as well.
Well, growing up in Brooklyn, I sang doo wop for years in the streets of Brooklyn. And from that I learned how to do harmony. I learned how to do minor chords and all that. Then I majored in music in high school, I learned how to play enough keyboard to write songs, write arrangements. I mean, when Rod Stewart said, "I want a song like Missing You," I went home on my keyboard with a drum machine and I put together these chords and went to my buddy's house and finished it. Next thing I know, we had "Do You Think I'm Sexy?" It was the biggest song Rod ever had. I couldn't believe it, you know. But I love arranging. You know, Vanilla Fudge. That's what we did. We were arrangers. You know, and it's mostly me and Mark Stein did a lot of the work. You know, with the harmonies and the dynamics. You know, and all that. So I just apply all the stuff that I've learned over the years. And when I got the studio here, and my brother Vinny built the studio for me because he had the same thing in California. And I said, you know, I want to set up the studio when I moved to Florida. So he said, okay. So he put it together, sent it here, and actually taught me how to be my own engineer. So now I engineer it, I play it. I have my engineer Pat Regan that mixed the album. He's an amazing engineer, and so when I give him my drums and all the tracks, he just does an amazing job mixing them. You know, amazing job. So and then we, you know, once you get the concept, you know, and you start putting the tracks down, then they got to start thinking of who would play what, you know,
It's
and that's the
interesting
hard
how
part.
that goes, you know, like an arrangement can make all the difference in the world, you know, and I personally,
Yes,
I've recorded a lot of stuff over the years and, you know, I've never achieved the heights that you have by any means, but
right.
I never wanted to do any covers until I think it was 2015 that we recorded the Introducing the Night Crew album. And I had the former drummer from a Canadian iconic band called Thundermug in my band, Ed Pranskus, and he's well renowned here anyway. And he said, "We got to do a cover." And I thought, I don't want to do covers. I'm not, you know, a typical cover
Yeah,
band, whatever. But when it came down to it, and working with the right drummer made a big difference for me too, because we covered the classic "Hooked on a Feeling,"
right.
and we won cover track of the year 2015 from the London Free Press here
Wow,
on
how
that.
cool.
And the difference was, I noticed my drummer looking at me funny. You know, it's not the
Right.
first time a drummer's looked at me funny, but what it was, he was watching me sing and he
Oh,
was watching how I breathe. And he came
wow,
up
how
with the
cool.
exact right tempo for me to sing that song the way I needed to sing it. I imagine that
Oh,
you think in similar ways, I'm sure, because when you think of an arrangement for You Keep Me Hanging On, the Vanilla Fudge
yeah.
arrangement, that's nowhere near the original, but
No,
it's so awesome.
I think if you're gonna do a cover, don't do it like the cover, like the same thing. What's the use of covering if you're gonna do it like the same thing? If you're gonna do a cover, change it. You know,
Make it your own.
change it. Yeah, make it your own. I've always done that. If I've done a cover, you know, I mean, we did a with me and Fernando Perdomo. We did a cover of that big song. What was it? It was off that horror
Running up,
movie.
running
Yeah,
down the hill,
run out down
running
there.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did our version. It was totally different. It's instrumental. It was totally different. You know, I mean, you got to change a cover. You can't do the same thing as that's on the cover. Why bother doing it then?
Yeah. And
You
there's some
know,
amazing
it's not going to
covers
be
on.
as good. It's not, may not be as good as the original. Let's put it that way.
Well, I guess that's depends on a lot of different factors. Like obviously, you play with nothing but top shelf artists, and
Yeah,
you know who's going to do what for you. I mean, singers like Joe Lynn Turner, come on, you know Dee
yeah,
Snider. Um, you get guys like Joe Bonamassa, Steve Morse on guitar, and you know the list goes on and on. I mean, Billy Sheehan, you mentioned him on bass. How could you go wrong? You know?
well, you can go wrong if you got to play in the wrong song. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
but you got to know what song. Like Joe, I knew Joe would sing that song because my singer we have in Cactus sings he can't sing like Joe. So when we gave Joe the demo, Joe loved it. He said, "What do you want me to sing it for? This guy's great." I said, "Because I want you." So he took it to another level, you know. And I knew Steve Morse would be an amazing player on that one, you know, just for the tempo and the way he plays, because he's played on other things that I've done. And Derek Sherinian, I wanted a keyboard on it because on the original was a keyboard. So he's the best keyboard player I know today. And he's I started him in the business years ago. So I mean, I have a lot of credibility that way. And Cactus does too, because you know, Cactus influenced all these people. That's why they said, yeah, I think, and maybe because they know me too, but Cactus influenced Bonamassa. The way I got Bonamassa on the last record, I did his podcast, and the first thing he said to me, man, Parchment Farm from Cactus blew me away,
Yeah.
just blew me away. I said, hey, well, I'm glad, because we're doing a new version. I'd love for you to play on it. And he said on his podcast, I'd love to. So he couldn't go back.
That's interesting. I've
And
made
he did.
connections like that too with my podcast, where I ended
Yeah.
up playing on somebody's record because we were talking.
Yeah, I mean, once it's out there in the public and you go, I'm going to do it, and then you don't do it, it makes you don't look good. I'll play on. People call me to play and stuff. I'll do it. I have a contract with Cleopatra to play on different songs. Like we just did "Hush" by Pete Purple. I changed it, and we did another thing by a Canadian guy, Thor.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
did a track for Thor, but I changed it. I changed it too much. The Cleopatra. They said, "Can you keep it a little more like the original?" And I kept saying, why are you going to do it if you're going to do it the same way? You know? So I
I
changed
know.
it enough to make it different.
I know Thor, and I also know Frank Soda, who played guitar with him for years and years.
Right.
Um, and Frank was actually a little bit of an influence on me way, way back in the day, because I used to go to this bar where they had the Saturday afternoon matinee jams, and some of
Right.
the best players from Canada passed through my hometown playing this bar. So I got to cut
Wow.
my teeth with some of these guys, and I ended up at the matinee the one time, and I didn't have my guitar. So Frank Soda, this was Frank Soda at Thor and the Imps. So Thor was the main show, but he didn't do the matinee. Right? He had
Right.
his band do the matinee, and so Frank let me play his guitar, and he had this BC Rich, I think it was a Mockingbird or something. Anyway, it sounded great, but he had these really heavy strings on it.
Right.
And I
Right.
said, man, I love your sound and your tone, but how do you play these heavy strings? He says, oh man, it gives you the best tone, and it stays in tune so much
Yeah.
better. So I thought, wow, I'm going to try that. So I'm a young kid. I start putting heavier and heavier strings on my guitar. Before I know it, I'm up to these artist rope chords things, and just the name
Yeah.
rope.
I didn't know what that means, but
Yeah, so it's really thick. So all of a sudden I'm playing my guitar and I hear in the neck.
what
Okay.
was that? What, it broke?
It was cracking, yeah. So
Ah.
I traded it in. But it's interesting the people that you meet over the years. And I was going to ask you about some of these guys and gals that are on your records. Like,
Right.
do you know all these people personally, or
I
how
do.
do
I
these
do.
connections happen?
I do. I do know all these people. Like on this record, I never met. I did meet Richie Fortix when he was playing with the Dead Daisies, but I found out he's a big Cactus fan. He sent me videos of him and different people that he made videos, proper videos of playing "Evil" by Cactus. You know, so I said, I'd love for you to play something. So he's playing the song down to the bottom. And the groove is very similar to Evil, but it's just the way it is on the Howlin' Wolf record, but done heavier. It's the same thing we did with Evil back in the day. It was lighter on his album. We made it heavier and more cool, you know. And we're doing the same thing. We did the same thing to it now. And basically, I met him only one time, but we talked on the phone a few times. And on that same track is Phil Susan. I played with my brother, and what's the name of that band? I forgot the name of the band with Vivian Campbell. Uh, and
Oh,
he's a friend of mine. So I said he'd be great on this. So we did the tracks, and then I said to Doug Pinnick, I said, man, I'd love you to sing this. And Doug, when I was with Blue Murder, we went on tour with King's X and Billy Squire, and I walk on King's X's bus, and they're playing Cactus. You know, so they tell me they were huge, huge Cactus fans. So I've been, they played on my Guitar Zeus, they played on all these different records of mine. So I asked Doug, I said, this is a perfect song for you to sing. What do you think? So he heard it, he said, yeah, I love it. So I gave it to him, he sang it. And that's just the way it goes. Like I start thinking about who would be good together. Like when we did Spoonful.
Right.
Now, the Cream listened to this album too, I'm sure. Maybe they didn't, but it's a classic blues album, blues song. Spoonful, spoonful, spoonful. But it's done totally different. It starts with a drum, ba-dum, bam, ba-ba-boom, ba-bam, ba-bam, bam, 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 like that kind of vibe. And then it goes, yeah, da 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 da, something like that. So when I put the demo down, I said, "No, who would be good on guitar?" I said, "Nugent would be good on guitar." So I said to Ted, "You cool with this?" I sent him the demos. Yes, he did that. And then I said, "I need a big fat bass player, somebody big fat sound." Bob Daisley. Bob Daisley's in Australia.
Right.
Now one of these people were ever in the same room together.
It's
Which
interesting,
is unbelievable. It's
I've done
unbelievable.
I've done remote recording as well, and I think a lot of us kind of started doing that during COVID, really. But
Yeah.
do you ever run into issues with frequencies? Like some guys record at like 32-bit,
Well,
and
they have to. We have to get up front. You
yeah,
have to be up front and say we we did these drum tracks at 4825.
yeah,
So record at 4825 at this tempo, and that straightens all that out.
yeah,
You know. So after we got Ted and Bob on that, it sounded great. So then I said, well, I only had a few singers on it, so the rest of the ones my singer was going to sing. So he did an amazing job. This guy, Ed Terry, is a monster singer, man. He is, I can't believe he hasn't made it huge. He's like, he's you. He's got a great image, looks like kind of younger Robert Plant when he was in like 40s, 50s.
okay, mm,
And he sings his butt off, plays harmonica. He's from Long Island, we get along really great. And he's so into Cactus. And our guitar player Artie Dillon's been with us for a while, and our bass player James has been with us for a while. And it's so funny with the song "Moaning." You heard the whole record, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
The song "Moaning" goes boom, 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 boom. Oh, somebody call me. It's like a real bluesy. So I put the bass on it originally because it's fun. When I'm doing that, it's more fun for me to have a bass on it and a vocal for me to play drums to. You
right,
know.
yeah.
Rather than just the vocal. So I only started doing that on this record, and I played two or three songs like that just to give me some vibe with the bass. So I said, well, I want you to replace the bass. He said, no, man, you played great on this. I said, come on, dude, you play on it. Of course, he played on it and did a lot better than I would. But it's really interesting trying to gather who's doing what um, and the timing of who's not on the road, and it always takes 6 months,
Yeah,
maybe
it's a
seven
very
months to make the record.
yeah,
I started this record probably I don't know, maybe May of last year,
okay.
and we finished it. I did finish it by I don't know, maybe by November, you know, and then
There's
it,
one song on this record that was recorded before the rest of the album. And I was going to point out that the evolution of recording technology has come a long way. I mean, the
yes.
one song that is featured is with Melanie.
Oh God, I know.
Yeah. So
Now
that
that one,
version, we should maybe take a second and give people a preview of the video for your cover
well, do
with.
you do you want to hear it first, and then I'll tell you how we did it?
Yeah, let's do that. We'll give the people a bit of a sneak preview here of
Okay.
Purple Haze with Cactus featuring Melanie.
Purple haze all in my brain. Oh,
That is amazing. So tell me how that came to be, Carmine.
Okay, so again, Brian Pereira, who owns Cleopatra, we're really good friends. I know him since he started the label in 1992, and we were good friends. So we worked together a lot on different stuff. So he came to me, he said, "Look, Melanie passed away, but we own her vocals. The estate gave us the ability to own her vocals to record stuff and all that." So he says, "So we have a recording of her acoustically doing Purple Haze. So what I'd like to do is give it to you and Pat Regan, my engineer, and try and make it Cactus and Melanie together." I said, "Oh, that's interesting." So he sent us the actual I think he sent us the actual her playing with the acoustic guitar, and it was like more than her. It was like, I don't know where it was, but at the end she has some guys going "hoo ha" like that, which I liked, So I gave it to my engineer. He took the vocal off that track and he stretched it so it would be in one tempo. I gave him the tempo about what it should be, and then he gave me the vocal, and I put the vocal on my system, and I just started arranging my drums to the vocal, right? And saying, okay, we're gonna have an intro, like, yeah, ba da da da, yeah, the intro like that, but it's a different tempo, a different feel than the Hendrix one. And then I did my usual. I sang my riffs and stuff with her vocal, and then I put the drums on, which created the arrangement, right? And then I sent it to Ollie Dillon, my guitar player. He put the guitars on it, right? And then we put Tony Franklin had done some gigs with Cactus at that point. So I gave it to Tony, right? And Tony put the bass on it. And now we had the whole thing. And then I said, I really like that hoo ha. So then I started imitating the hoo ha with my voice at different spots. Then we put the solo, and then we went from down tempo to up tempo solo, cut time, double time, and then back down to the other. And it came out fantastic.
It is something else,
And
man.
and you'd never hear her singing like that.
That's what blows me away about this whole thing. Like this isn't the first time we've talked about Melanie, posthumously, but uh, that I was, I got a brand new pair of roller skates. It's nothing
Mhm.
like this,
Yeah, she sounds like Janis Joplin on this thing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, one
I
screams, "Ah!" I said, "Oh my God, listen to that. Her guts are falling out,
I
you
keep
know?
looking at in the background. You've got all your gold and platinum records, and what looks to be an amazing set of drums.
It is an amazing set of drums. I can take you over there with my
Yeah,
phone
let's
if you
have
want
a
to take a look.
little
Okay,
tour of your drum kit
come
here.
on, come over. Here we go. This is my studio. It's a combination of a gym and a studio. This is some artwork that I do. That's called Drum City. That was in a
We're a
video.
little bit low on the shot there.
Uh, oh, hi. How's that?
Yeah, if you
That better?
a little
I
bit,
don't know. What you can see.
that's
There
better.
you
Yeah,
go.
now we're in the shot. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
Okay, Drum
that there
City.
is the background to the drum. If you look on YouTube, Drum City by Carmine and Fernando, that this is the whole background. All my artwork is the background. It's
Right.
amazing. All right, so and there we have these bass drums. Can you see the bass drums?
We need to go a little bit lower. I can
Lower.
see the top of
Okay,
the
how's that?
shelf.
How's that? That
Okay.
better?
Yeah.
Okay, so these are 1971 specially made Ludwig bass drums at 24 by 15. Normally bass drums were 14 in those days. And this is a bass drum I had with Cactus originally, 1971, right? So we got two of those, right? See those two there, right?
Cool.
And
Yeah.
these are custom made tom toms by D Drum, which I play now. As you can see, I have my logo on them, right? And they're
Nice.
candy apple red, beautiful finish, right? And this is something called the shade cymbal, which is a prototype, as you can see, right? It's a Sabian soda prototype on that. This one
Okay.
here is a prototype, 18-inch medium hand hammered Sabian. Okay, let's move over to here. This here is a 22-inch Carmine Vault cymbal by Sabian with a little rig microphone on there to catch the bell, you know.
Okay.
And this is a Sabian Carmine China, right? And that's a regular 18-inch hand hammered Sabian, which is beautiful. All right, and then we go around to the back here. And this is a 2004 purple pink leopard Slingerland snare drum Radio King, right? And this is it's one of the toms again from D drum. This cymbal here is an Istanbul Carmine Realistic Rock hi-hat cymbal, which is a awesome sound. Now this is funny because this, when I had my 75th birthday, my wife had these on everybody's table, right? And they put flowers on it. And I gave one, we had an extra one, so I gave one to my friend, his son, and his son had it on his kit and they played it. I said, wow, that sounds great. So I put it on here. Now this, whenever you hear on the record, you'll hear some snare drum on the left side of the
Okay.
mix. It's this. It's a high-end crack, a really little drum. Look how little that is, you know.
No kidding. Yeah.
And these are, you know, my pedals, and I have overheads, and I have, this is the Andy Johns version of miking because I learned that from him. And in here, I did show you, I have my room mics. There's one over there. And normally I have this one moved as well over here, so they're even.
Okay.
You know, so that's where I get the room mics from. So that's the little tour of the drums.
Nice.
I never
Yeah, you
did that
gotta.
before. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, the state of recording has evolved so much, and with the room mics, man, you gotta really know what you're doing with those because you can end up
Yeah.
really muddying up the mix if you don't place them
Yeah. I
exactly.
mean,
So, yeah.
yeah, they got to be pretty much even. When I used to record in the real studio, I put the, as you can see, my room mics are low. You notice that?
Okay.
Yeah. Look at this. Okay. See where the mics
Okay.
are?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
They're low. Most people put the room mics high.
Right.
But me and Andy Johns figured out that when you have them high, you have too much top end, you know?
Okay.
You have too
Okay.
much top end and it just doesn't, so most people don't realize that when you have the room ups high, you get all the top end of cymbals, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we would put them low and put a baffle in front of them, actually. So over here, I have the doorway is my baffle. So I
Okay.
move them over to the just a little beyond the doorway each one, so you don't get it directly into the right into the mic. You get a little bit, it has to go around the doorway, you know. But I got an amazing drum sound in here, and this is a guest house, you know. I mean, there's a kitchen, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
You know, so I'm really right in the breakfast area, in the dining room, whatever you want to call it, you know. And then there's another room in the back there. My wife, who does radio, podcast, she records back there. And, but I love it. I mean, I come in here, I work out. There's a gym, I go play and work out. And if I want to eat some popcorn, my favorite snack while I'm recording, popcorn, and I love it because
you
you
know
know
it's
what? Every time before I recorded, before I got this place, I would go into the studio. My roadie would set up the drums. I go bang, 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 bang. Get the drum sound for a couple hours, and then do whatever. I do 2 or 3 tracks for over a couple of days, and then we're done. When I get home, I go, oh man, I wish I would have done that fill, a different fill for over there. And I can't do it now. In here, the air conditioning's the same, the humidity's the same, the drums never move. It's always the same. I can play something today, come back next week and listen to it, go, you know what? I want to change that drum fill. And I can go in and change the drum fill. And it's so cool. I just walk through my garage. I'm in here. It's like a man cave, but studio, I have a little area over there with a drum pad with some books. I can practice over there. It's just wonderful. And I look in the back, I look outside, and I got a lake. you know. And
Nice.
I moved to Florida here. I love it here. Just love it here.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's definitely some merit to going into a professional, treated room studio.
Yeah,
Um, but it's so nice if you can do things, even just the basic ideas and scratch tracks and demos at home. And like you
yeah,
say,
yeah,
when
sure,
you
without
when
a doubt.
when you got your drums right there and you say, I should have added that splash, it's right there, right?
I used to do my demos on my iPad GarageBand. I play drums with my fingers and play bass and guitar and do all my demos. And most of the songs that I did on there, I've either released or recorded. Somebody else recorded them. I did them with my brother on our album. I did it with me and Fernando. I did them with so many different projects with King Cobra, you know. But now it's so much better to do it here because I could still use the keyboard, and I have a Dean guitar too. I play a little guitar. I never recorded guitar here yet, other than through the garage band on the iPad. But now I'm doing bass. I've done keyboards here. I've done vocals here. I just had we're doing another project. I had Eric Bloom from Blue Oyster Cult here doing the rhythm guitar.
Oh,
It's
nice,
pretty funny, but
nice.
I love it. But for me, when I just finished that, this new album, it's really an accomplishment because Brian, the label, said, I don't want two albums. We have to put this on one album, one LP, So don't do like the last one I did, I don't know, 14 songs or something, So this one we did 10 songs, and on the CD you'll get the bonus track
Right.
of an 11th song. And we did a weird thing on the Cactus song called "Feel So Good." In the '70s, that was my drum solo song on the record. So I didn't want to do a drum solo on the record, so I thought I'd do something different. So I got my singer from my Rod show, who sounds like Rod Stewart, and I got Billy Sheehan. I got my guitar player Artie, and we put down the basic track. And then on that track, we had a guitar battle with Tommy Thayer from Kiss, and Britt Lightning from Vixen, right? You heard it,
Right.
right? You heard it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and it goes
yeah.
back and forth. And then it goes into this like this Billy Sheehan, bass, first tone bass like Tim Bogert, like every 4 or 6 bars. And then in between it, there's drums going on and theremins and all kinds of. It's called "Feel So Good." I got this guy that does spoken word that we work with. He goes, "Feels so good," and there's all kinds of stuff going on. But I had like Mike Portnoy and my brother and Nico McBrain all do these drum things, but we squeeze them so little that you can't even tell they're drums. They're just an effect, you know. And it's all over that thing, I wanted to create like a whole lot of love kind of vibe,
Yeah,
you know.
well, you've the whole album. I mean, this Temple of Blues 2 on Cleopatra Records, you got to get it wherever you get your music. It's available on CD as well. Is there a vinyl?
There's a vinyl. There'll be
Okay.
vinyl, and it's coming out April 3rd. Up until now, we're just releasing tracks. I just saw the video for the first time, and it's complete, but it's not really complete. There's a couple of little things we got to fix, but we did it CGI.
Okay.
So we got, just to give you an idea of it, the harmonica player is a friend of mine from here. He's awesome. So we did him in my garage with a green screen. We did around my drums. There's a curtain that goes around the whole drum set, right? So you don't see the gold records and nothing. And I do the videos in here too,
Hmm.
you know. So, but he takes the videos of me and puts me wherever he wants. So the scene is like 1920s country blues area, with
Mm.
farms and little red roosters. And so it opens up with me and the harmonica player in the field somewhere playing. And then you see D driving an old 1920s car, and it's black and white. And then when he says the dogs are barking and, the hounds begin to hound and whatever, it turns
Found out on
color.
my trail. Yeah.
Yeah, it turns color and everything. And the vibe is, we're all out in the country playing. Tracy Guns, Jimmy Haslett, me, my friend Rockin Jake, and D. We're all out in the country, and then the rooster's walking around, and he, and it and it says special beauty makeover, right? I was going to say gender change, but I didn't want to be political, you know? So Brewster walks in there. There's a woman in there, puts him in a chamber, fires it up. There's all lightning and smoke like Frankenstein. It comes out a beautiful redhead woman, right? So then she's walking around. She gets eventually gets in the car with Dee while the music's playing. They're showing shots of us playing and singing. And at the end, he's driving with her and he stops. And all of a sudden, lightning from the sky, big explosion. She turns back into a rooster in the car. Really funny as shit,
Uh,
you know?
oh,
So
we're
I'm
gonna
just
look
looking
forward to
at it
that.
today. I'm just looking at it today. So that's going to be released about the time that the album comes out. And I
Okay.
said, why are you guys releasing like the track with me, Billy Sheehan, and Eric Gales, Backdoor Man? It's a monster track. I thought we'd do a video for that, And they said, we just want to release a few tracks at a time just to get people interested. I said, okay. And then we'll release the video with D. And I didn't talk to D, but I think this is the last thing he's done, that's going to be released since he's retired.
Okay.
And we got the video and we got him singing it. You
Well, we'll
know?
see how long that lasts. I mean, if you got the
Well,
music in you,
it's
man.
gonna last. It's gonna last. It's gonna last because you know I'm
No, I
sure
don't
this
mean the
this
record. I mean as far as D retiring.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's gonna
Oh,
last.
okay. He's done, eh? Okay.
Yeah, he's done. He's done because there's some issues he's got to deal with.
Okay. Well,
It's
we
like me. I don't go to Europe because of health issues.
okay. Yeah.
So I'm just over here. Because we're
But
not
you
young
keep
boys.
moving though. And this is the thing. I'm not a young spring chicken either, and people say to me sometimes, "How do you look? You're so lucky you look so young." And there's no luck involved at all. It's like you got your gym there. Uh,
Yeah. Well, I
I
eat good. I got the gym. I try and stay healthy.
you gotta
I'm
stay.
not. I'm not one of these guys that I never go to a doctor because I never go to a doctor. I mean, look, I'm at an age I go to doctors to see, make sure everything's okay.
Yeah, and okay, I got arthritis and it hurts, but if you don't keep building these things, it's gonna hurt worse. you
Yeah.
like you got to keep
Yeah.
your
Well,
muscles moving. You got to keep and the
totally. I
music.
mean,
You
totally. I
know.
mean, I had a doctor say to me, "I have varicose veins in my ankles," and
Wow.
he said, "Man, they should be hurting you." I said, "They don't really hurt." He goes, "He says probably because you're playing drums. That's probably why they don't hurt because you're always moving." I
Yeah.
said, probably, yeah, maybe. I mean, I do have arthritis here.
Hmm.
So normally you play drums like this, right? So I can play drums like this where I don't have to use that at all, you know?
Right.
So you just play like this. So I started feeling it on my left hand. So I started playing like that. Matter of fact, I'm going to call my friend Michael DeRocha from Heart. My brother was with him the other day and he's saying he's having some problems with arthritis in his hands. I'm going to call him and ask him if it's in the same spot. If it is, I'm going to tell him to switch that grip over.
Yeah, that's the thing with drummers. Max Weinberg had to have surgery at some point too. And
Yeah,
but anyway, the new album is coming out April 3rd. Did you say?
I think April 3rd, you say, and it's Temple of Blues 2 featuring Dee Snider, Doug Pinnick, Ted Nugent, Tracy Guns, God, I can't remember,
Well, you
Alex
got
Soltnick, Steve Morse, Joe Lynn Turner, Tony Franklin, Billy Sheehan. Um, that's most of them. I
yeah,
think
Rudy Sarzo was on there.
Rudy
I mean,
Sazzo's
and
on it.
and let's
Yep,
not
yep.
forget Artie, man. That
Audie Dillon, Monster Player,
yeah, I mean, you got to
James
have a lot of
Caputo, Ed
nerve.
Terry,
You got to
Ed
have a
Terry.
lot of nerve to cover Jimi Hendrix, and to do it
Oh,
well. That
okay.
says something, you
Audie's
know.
monster. He's a
Yeah.
monster, man. I found him. I used to have a show. I'm always trying different things. I had a show, I don't know, 2008. It's called Slam. It was five drummers and Artie, the guitar player.
Mm.
And, we had trash cans and buckets and 55 old gallons. It was like a stomp Blue Man Group kind of thing. It was great. It was doing great. Then I couldn't find anyone to book it. But initially, I had this keyboard player, and he couldn't do it anymore. He says, "I got this other guy that plays keyboard." He brought Audie in, and Audie played some keyboard, and he had a guitar with him. I said, "Why do you have a guitar?" He goes, "Well, my main instrument is guitar." I said, well, let's play guitar. So we tried him with the guitar, and it was so much better. And he was like 24 years old then when I met him, you
Wow.
know, and uh, and now he's like, whatever it is, almost 20 years later, So he's phenomenal. And he loved Cactus. So for him being in Cactus is like a dream for him, you
Yeah,
know.
I respect everybody on these albums, but I was particularly impressed by him as a guitar player. Um,
He's
and,
he's a monster.
so after this, what's next? Are you going to work on another project, or what's
Well,
coming?
I have my Rod show. It's called Rod the Show, celebrating the music and legacy of Rod Stewart, in which I have a guy that looks exactly like Rod, uh, sings like Rod, dresses like Rod. Rod is his total idol, and he's been doing it like a Rod tribute show for years. But now, with me and the sax player named Katra, she was with Rod 14 years. So if you go to rodtheshow.com, you'll see what I'm talking about. And we play theaters. We just played a theater Saturday night at 900 people in Myrtle Beach, and we're playing in Minneapolis, no, Minnesota, actually, at a casino 2 nights, March 11 and 12, and then we're playing down here at a community, a theater down here in Florida, and then we got a lot of gigs. We do a lot of gigs with that. It's a great, great show. I get to play all my songs that I did with Rod. I get to tell stories, you know, and it's doing really well. Really, really well. So,
Nice.
so I do that. We're doing Cactus. We're doing a big show. We're trying to get it together. We're just waiting for, it's a charity show. So we're waiting for the donor money to come in. And if we do it, which we hope we will at this point, we're going to do it at the Alcada Theater in outside Chicago. And it's going to be hopefully Ted Nugent, Billy Sheehan, Eric Gales, Pat Travis, Bumblefoot, myself. And if Ted can't make it, I'm talking to Doug Aldridge. I'm talking to Tracy G.
Hmm.
And uh, and we're going to do that for Tunnel to Towers. The charity.
Okay.
And I don't know if you know, you're a Canadian.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that
no,
that's for all the vets in America, and all the policemen and that have lost their lives and their families got hurt, and they buy houses for people and stuff. So
okay.
I'm hoping we're going to give them a lot of money, and then we're going to do some Cactus All Star shows, I think in July, and I got some Vanilla Fudge gigs coming up.
Nice.
So I'm just I'm not like on tour, like I go out for a month, come back. I don't like that, unless you're going out as Rod Stewart or you know uh, these big acts where you have your own plane, you have your own doctors, you have everything. You have the wardrobe girl and all that. I'll
Uh,
go out for 2 or 3 days at a time, and I'm good.
yeah,
You
no
know,
kidding. That's what
yeah,
works for me too. I don't want to
yeah.
keep you all day, Carmine. I know you've got a lot
Okay.
on the go, and we're all looking forward to everything that you have coming down the pike. I want to
Well, thank
thank
you.
you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so
I
much for
enjoy I
taking the
enjoy
time.
talking about the music. Sometimes people go, "Man, enough already."
We can never get enough. Thanks so much for
Yeah,
doing this
I
with
love it.
me. And until
Okay.
next time, cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Tommy Solo's Famous Friends is a one-man production, meaning that I've done all the work, including recording, editing, guest acquisition, etc. The theme song for Tommy Solo's Famous Friends is a clip from my original composition, The Burn, all rights reserved. If you enjoy the show and you'd like to help us keep it going, why don't you click on the Buy Me a Coffee link in the show notes. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that stuff. We really appreciate it. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. And until next time, cheers.